Hello guys, it's Superfryer. Welcome back to another Trove tutorial. Today I'm going to be giving you guys a little gem guide because I know the game doesn't really explain it well. Today's guide is going to explain gems early game and end game, and what gems you need to make an end game build. I'm just going to be honest, early game gems, it doesn't matter, just equip them all. If it's a higher power rank, slap it on. The only time I'd go against this is if you're struggling, you're dying too much. Just if you're a physical character, make sure you've got physical damage on. If you're magic damage, make sure you've got magic damage on your gems. The only reason I say this is because the amount of gems you're going to be getting, like the upgrades come ridiculously fast when you're early games, doesn't really matter because each gem is not going to be end game viable. And this is because every higher Uber you go to, every dungeon you complete and you get a gem box, it's always going to end up being a higher rarity that you can get out of the boxes until you get to Uber 9. When you're at Uber 9, that's the maximum gem rarity you can get from a lucky drop. You're also very limited when you first start the game because you don't have many gem slots open. Well, you don't even have your first one up until you're level 10. So I would just focus on leveling up mainly instead of just trying to get good gems, because at the end, once you unlock all them, the game really opens up. If you're struggling to level up, make sure you're doing your daily quests. You can find the daily quests at the adventure outpost for each biome. When you do one of these adventures, it should take around 5 to 10 minutes and you should get quite a lot of XP from them. I'd also recommend, if you're not strong enough to go in your highest Uber, to try and do the quests which are like farming for Shapestone or Glacial Shards. Try and do them in the highest Uber because you don't have to kill mobs and you get more XP because it scales up from the Uber you go to. I would just keep doing this till you get to about 5k power rank. Once you get a 5k power rank, the game starts to really open up, because now you get access to your class gem. Before you actually go to get your class gem, make sure you have a class gem key. You can get these rarely from empowered gem boxes, or you can craft one in the Adventurer's Crafting Bench. You can also get a key if you keep following your expertise quest. Make sure you do this, because it saves quite a lot of resources and time. Now it's time to get your class gem. This can be quite hard, so I recommend asking for some help in chat. To get your class gem, you want to go to the shores of the Everdark. From here you want to go to the Colosseums. If you open your map, it'll look like a mega dungeon. Now, as I said before, this can be quite hard, especially if you're using a melee character. If you're using a ranged character, it shouldn't be too hard, just keep your distance and just keep putting damage on. This is also not your traditional mega dungeon. There's only one boss in here and it's a Cursed Skull. When you activate this Cursed Skull, you'll have to survive 60 seconds, and you need to kill 3 guardians. You don't have to do this part in a minute though, you only need to survive a minute. And then when you complete this dungeon, you just open up the chest with your class gem key, and boop, there's your class gem. From this point, I just try to get a 10k power rank and get to Uber 9. When you get into Uber 9, it's time to get into the juicy part of the game, the endgame builds. Now, I'm not really sure why Trove doesn't explain this, but they're just doing. There's only really 3 full stats you need to worry about if you're going for an endgame build. If you're a physical character, crit hit, crit damage, physical damage. And guess what? For a magic character, magic damage, crit hit, critical damage. It's really that simple. The only class that excludes this is a Revenant, and that's because you might want to swap out a crit hit for a maximum health if you want a tanky build, but people don't really do that anymore because he usually is quite tanky just because of his abilities alone. Furthermore, once you get into Uber 9, I would just try and make a gem build where you've got physical damage, crit hit, crit damage with your physical character, and the same with your magic, but obviously with magic damage, and just try and get all these gems socketed as Stellar. Once you've got these gems equipped, I will level them up to level 10 or 15. Personally, I'll level mine up to just enough where I can solo dungeons relatively fast. The reason we go to level 10 or 15 is because from level 5, level 10, level 15, you'll get something called a Pearl, and this goes on your gem, and this increases one of those stats by a huge amount. So I'd say instead of leveling your gems up to like level 13, level up to level 15. It may cost a little bit more dust, but trust me, it's worth it. Now, what you might have noticed as you're opening these gem boxes is they start with different power ranks. These are going to become very, very important when you're trying to fully max out your character. The lowest starting power rank a Stellar gem can be is about 450. Just get rid of it, scrap it. It's horrible. But the highest is about 600. If you ever get a 600 gem, you're literally the luckiest person in the world, and you need to hang on to it and never let go. 600 power ranks are so rare that even if you got one that didn't have the correct rules, like it doesn't have crit hit, physical damage, crit damage, hang on to it, reroll the stats, because that is a thing you can do. Rerolling stats can be very useful because it can turn a good gem into an amazing gem. To do this, you need to craft a contained Chaos Spark. These are very expensive. You need 3 Lunar Souls, 4 Binding Darknesses, and 2100 Eyes of Cthulhu. The thing that makes these gems expensive is the Binding Darkness. You cannot buy these. They are in a way time gated because they are so rare to get that you will be lucky to find about 4 or 5 a week. The way to get these is very simple. All you need to do is complete world bosses, either ones that spawn in dungeons or just randomly. So just try and save these as much as possible. If you have like a 550 power rank gem, you don't really want to be re-rolling that because it's just not worth it. You could go grind for another hour and then come out with a lot higher power rank gem. And if you do come out with a lot higher power rank gem, you won't have to spend as much resources and as much time at the end upgrading those small percentage points. You can also move the pearls I was talking about before onto another boost. So if you have a really good gem and you want to move a boost from say crit hit to crit damage, you can do that. To do this, it costs 2 contained chaos sparks. And I'd also try to avoid doing this because every time you move a pearl to another boost, it will bring that stat percentage down as if you've just upgraded the gem to level 10 and it's just put a pearl on. Now, as I'm showing you in the Gem Forge now, the reason this 150 power rank makes a huge difference is because you need to level up your gems in the Gem Forge to get them even better and make them truly endgame. And the big difference between starting with a low power rank and a high power rank is going to be the percentages, because it costs so much to max these gems out. To bring these gem percentages up, you either need to build the Builder's Rough Focus, Builder's Precise Focus, or Builder's Superior Focus. Each one of these will bring the gem up a different amount of percentage. The Builder's Rogue Focus brings it up 1%, the Builder's Precise Focus brings it up 2 to 3%, and the Builder's Superior Focus brings it up around 5% usually. These can all be found in the Adventurer's Crafting Bench and other gems tab. The reason I say usually, and usually can actually be used for all of these, because when you have one of those pearls that I was talking about before on your gear, it makes it a lot harder to upgrade, the percentages go up less. Also, when a pearl gets added onto a gear, like at level 15, say the pearl goes on crit hit and it's at 70%, it could bring it down to about 56% or something like that. A big part to every endgame build are the Empowered Gems. These will be the 4 most important gems you'll equip. The new factor with Empowered Gems is you don't just need to worry about the stats, you also need to worry about what type of gem they are. The way you find out what type of gem they are is by looking at the name. The main Empowered Gem types you'll be using is Pyrodisc and Explosive Epilogue. This is mainly because they're the most overpowered, but you're also going to be using Vampire and Vanquisher in your Cosmic slot and whatever your Empowered Gem is in your other one. Now, to be 100% sure on what Empowered Gem types you'll be using, I recommend googling it, just because some classes have different builds. Empowered Gems are also different in the way you actually get them. You can't get them from normal gem boxes, you have to get them from Empowered Gem boxes. There are a few different options on how to actually obtain these boxes though. One way is through the Traveling Merchant. He will appear in clubs that have a high enough merchant level fixture. That is a bit of a mouthful to say, and it may have taken me like 8 tries, so that's the best you're getting, I'm sorry. Anyway, the problem with him is he will only give Radiant Empowered Gem boxes. I would only buy these if your gem slot was completely empty and you didn't have anything to socket in there. Another way, and which will be the most common way, is through the Shadow Tower. When you complete Daughter of the Moon, you'll get some Lunar Souls. When you get these Lunar Souls, you can go over to the Shadowy Market and trade these in for Empowered Gem boxes. Now usually you'll get Radiance, but you also have a decent chance to get a Stellar. And finally, the last way to get these Empowered Gem boxes is through the Adventurer's Crafting Bench. Under the Gems tab, there'll be something called the Stellar Empowered Gem box. To make this, you'll need 10 Empowered Gem fragments. You get these gem fragments by loot collecting Empowered Gems. You get 1 fragment for each Radiant you loot collect, and 2 for each Stellar. These boxes are the only guaranteed way to get a Stellar Empowered Gem. When you're leveling up your gems, you also get boosters. The boosters are Glittering Horseshoes, Lapis Luckbugs, and the Ninth Life. These offer bonuses when upgrading your gems. The Glittering Horseshoe increases level up chance by 50%. Lapis Luckbugs increase level up chance by 300% and double level up chance by 500%. And the Ninth Life increases level up chance by 4000% and double level up chance by 1000%. I would only recommend using these when your gem's about level 18. From level 18 to 21, I'd recommend using the Horseshoes. From 21 to 24, I'd recommend using the Lapbugs, and just to get to level 25, use a Ninth Life, because if you don't, you're going to use so much gem dust and Lapis Luckbugs. Yeah guys, this has been my guide to gems. I hope you've enjoyed it. I put a lot of work into this video, so I'd really appreciate it if you guys give me a like, comment and subscribe. I also stream on Twitch every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday from 7 PM to 9 PM GMT. So come join in, you can ask questions, it's going to be live, you can chat, it'd be great. If you guys have any video ideas for Trove or other games, I'd like to see them in the comments as well. Thank you guys for watching, I'll see you in the next video.